but we're going to go ahead and check out the futures for IndyCar. And as we do, I have to ask you, though, same thing about NASCAR. Tell us about the big changes that the fans need to keep an eye on for IndyCar this season.
Yeah, I mean, one, everybody's expecting, I can't touch it too much. This is where some days I have to skate around with the hybrid. They're pausing that right now because a lot of people think, well, that's supposed to come this year, and it was. So that'll, mid-season, they're hopeful, that thing rolling out. But until then, there was some safety things they did on the car that made them lighter. And so they were already planning on the heavier hybrid unit. So now that's not on there, and the car is lighter, the aero screen's lighter. We're expecting some record speeds, including could be right here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Are we going to hit the 4-lap average? Probably, the way they talk. We could see a 236, 237. Are we going to hit the single lap of 239? No, I don't think we're going to get that far or that fast. But we could see some record speeds with a lighter car. So that's going to be a huge storyline. Kyle Larson, naturally, running the Indy 500 is a huge storyline. Elio going for the 5th. So Indy, it's its own beast this year. We have an all-star race at Thermal Club in March. Milwaukee's back. So as far as changes, we're still chasing Penske and Ganassi for that championship. They've won every year since 2013. They've got the best equipment, drivers. The big thing is going to be, can McLaren or Andretti jump into that mix? That's going to be the big overwhelming storyline. And then when the hybrid does come out, is who can adapt to that quicker. So that's going to be its kind of own little storyline. But as far as the car, other than it becoming lighter and the hybrid being delayed, not a whole lot of change. The big drivers are still with each other. Penske has got the same trio. Ganassi, Dixon, and Palou are back. They got some youth. So I'm just curious with that. How that's going to look with them is because Palou, they lost Marcus Ericsson to Andretti, and Andretti downsized from 4 cars to 3. That youthfulness in the Ganassi camp. They're saying that adding a car for Kip and Simpson, where you got a second-year guy and 2 rookies, to go along with Dixon and Palou is going to be helpful for Dado, where Andretti, by scaling back from 4 cars to 3, is going to be helpful to them because there's more resources on 3 cars compared to 4. So I'm curious how that mix goes. Rapinski stays status quo at 3. They won the Indy 500. So how does that all look? Alex Palou, I mean, the dude was unstoppable last year. He had a top 8 finish in every race. So how does that adversity going to look? I don't think he's going to go all 17 races this year in the top 8. So how do they respond when something happens like that? Where Scott Dixon, I mean, he had the top 7 in 16 of the 17 races himself. It was just that 27th place finish at Long Beach that killed him. 3 wins in the final 4 races. He actually outscored Palou in the last 11 races, 268 to 239. He's trying to get his 7th championship. So I think there's just a lot in the mix right there. Colton Herta, he said it was his worst season he's ever had last year. It's the first year since 2015 he's never won a race. And even all the junior series coming through, he's always at least won 1 race. He didn't win anything. His teammate Kyle Kirkwood won twice. So does that benefit them going from 4 cars to 3 cars? Does he find victory lane? If he's winning, that keeps the Penske and Ganassi guy out. So there's just a lot at stake. Andretti's usually good at St. Pete, the season opener. So that's going to be one of the things we're going to be looking at when we get to March in St. Pete is that Andretti mix. McLaren, they brought in David Malukas. He's going to take over. Granted, he got hurt. He's going to be out for a couple of races. So it's really down to Pato and Alexander Rossi. Rossi was telling us he's in purgatory because he's finished 9th in the points like the last 3 years. Does he have it in him for one last charge to go at these big teams, or is it all on Pato award? Pato last year, similar thing. He had 4 runner-up finishes. He didn't win, but he was runner-up 4 times.
Yeah.
You take out his Long Beach crash when he was a little overzealous with Dixon. You take out the Indy 500 crash when he was a little overzealous with Marcus Ericsson. In Detroit with the pit road issue, you take those 3 races out. The rest of the 14 races, his average finish is 4.85. So he's right there. That's championship worthy too. So that's just a lot of guys right there. I mentioned only one of them can win the championship. And then you got Juncos. You know, it's internally we're all like, is this thing going to combust? How long is this going to last? The Argentinian fans last year are throwing death threats at Callum Ilott. The team backs more the fans over Callum Ilott. Oh, yeah, there's death threats about there was a lot of drama. Well, now enter Romain Grosjean into the mix, who is a lot of drama himself. So he's a guy that doesn't take a lot of responsibility when things go wrong. That's why there's a lot of turmoil with Andretti. And nothing against him, he'll admit that. And now you're going to go to Juncos with a team with death threats, and they're already internal fight. How is that going to last? How is that going to look? So that's another thing we'll be looking at. And then the TV contract. I mean, that's up after the year where NASCAR they signed their new deal. Now it's IndyCar's turn to hopefully get an increase in revenue for the TV side, and that should be close. They're getting close to announcing something. So a lot of play here. We'll dive into more as the season goes on, but yeah, there's a lot of little things that we're watching here that's on the radar.
Yeah, and you're going to go again in depth on a lot of this new stuff that you need to keep an eye on in your season preview video. So that's coming up at some point, no later than probably the first week of March. So stay tuned for that. That's why you want to subscribe, hit the notification button. They'll let you know when those shows will be available. We're going to have some live shows as well. So that will give us an opportunity to interact with you guys as we air our videos. Okay, so let's. I've already popped up the futures, so let's go right into it. And then I also want you, before you go, I want you to also talk about the rookies to keep an eye on, and if there are any potential breakthrough drivers that, in other words, like a sleeper, somebody that could actually contend for the title this year that nobody's expecting. So let's get into it. And CJ, of course, I'm going to get your opinion on this as well. So we'll start with Eric, though. Eric, give us your championship driver.
I'm going to go Dixon. And right now on DraftKings, I'm looking at right now, he's plus 800. And for those reasons from last year, he ended the season hot. And a thing I did an article on IndyCar.com, that's why I dive a little bit deeper now. The last 3 years, because all their success has promoted guys. So it's pit stand, in which that would mean like in NASCAR, you're constantly getting new crew chiefs and crew guys on your pit box making decisions. Well, they were doing so good, he was losing those guys. They were getting promoted. They were going to other teams. Well, they did do a good job last year, but they kept everybody. So you looked at that terminology and learning each other, and that's why those stats picked up at the end of the year, is what he told me. And this season, they're all back. So if they ended that way and we have the same car back this year and the hybrid's delayed, you got to think you should kind of pick up where he left off.
Okay.
So for plus 800, and really I'll say a cohort there. I like fellow New Zealand native Scott McLaughlin also at plus 800. He's been getting better as the years have gone on, Penske driver. So I'd say both of those guys and a
So
sleeper.
Would McLaughlin basically be your runner-up?
Yeah, I'd say they're kind of 1-2 right now.
Okay.
He was third, he was third last year. So one more step up. And he talked about how hard it is to break through. He called it like weight loss is when I talked to him about this too. And again, same on IndyCar.com, those stories are posted back to back actually. I find that last little bit because he went from new, never done these tracks, never raced on ovals, really here before, to he went from 14th to 6th to 4th to 3rd to now he's there. And I was like, what's it going to take to get that last little bit? And his thought process was it's like weight loss. You start losing weight and the cut that last little bit of chunk out. That little bit is when it takes the hardest. It's because you've gone through so much to lose it. You're tired. You're mentally worn out. Why are you still doing this? You already look fine. It's getting that last little bit. He goes, that's what this is like. It's that last little bit of effort to get there, and he feels like they're there. So, and a sleeper, it's weird to call him a sleeper right now. I'll give you two because there's one that's weird to call a sleeper. Another one, he's a legitimate odds-wise. But Will Power is plus 1,800 in the Penske guy, and he won the championship 2 years ago. And the fact that he's a two-time champion plus 1,800 and a Penske guy, I would jump all over that right now. The reason he didn't win last year was his wife was going through some serious health concerns, and it took a toll on him. He almost quit. He almost walked away. Couldn't do it anymore. And health concerns are behind him. She's good. She's be back at races again. Another story, it's on IndyCar.com about how much his wife does because he gets in his head a lot, how good she is for him to balance that out. So plus 1,800 for the guy that just literally 2 years ago won a championship is,
I like it.
To me, a no-brainer. And Christian Lundgaard, plus 2,000 right now. Sophomore season last year, he won. Ray Hall's been great on road and street courses. Can they get that last little bit on ovals? They had an Indy recovery plan, trying to get better. We'll see if it works. But he was 8th in points last year, and he's plus 2,000. So if somebody's going to be a true sleeper in that sense, I would say him. It's weird to call Will Power a sleeper, but he's right there at plus
Hey,
1,800.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. Okay.
yeah.
And rookies?
Linus Lundqvist is going to be the guy to watch. He impressed last year with Meyer Shank. He ran a couple of races, got Ganassi's attention. He's a Ganassi driver. The kid can flat out drive. He can win. He's Indy Next, which is, for the NASCAR listeners, Indy Next is the same of the NASCAR Xfinity Series, what they are to the Cup Series. Indy Next is that way at IndyCar. He's a champion a couple of years ago in that. And you're giving him a Ganassi car, and a teammate, Marcus Armstrong, won the Rookie of the Year last year. And right now, Lundqvist is plus 10,000.
Yeah, 100 to 1. He's 100 to 1.
Yeah. I'm not going to say he's going to championship, but I can see him finishing top 10 in points. He's that good. So he's going to be the one to watch. Tom Blomqvist is another one, another name. Came from sports cars. Good driver. Slow to adapt a little bit to this car last year in the few opportunities, but he's going to be one to watch. Christian Rasmussen's the other rookie, but he's not running full-time. He's just running road and street courses in the Indy 500. So
okay.
The other two guys, the two faces. Oh, Kipton Simpson. I don't want to forget one. He is running. He's also with Ganassi, but big learning curve, multi-year deal for him to learn. So I don't expect much in the way of contending for a championship out of him, but that is another rookie in the paddock this year.
All right, so we're gonna let you go. CJ and I will wrap up. We'll again, I'm gonna get CJ's picks here for both Indy and F1 picks. Yeah, okay. Who's gonna finish runner-up in F1? And but before we do that, Eric, again, and by the way, we have a link in the description for Twitter. It's just you can have the same Twitter handle.
Just Eric_IndyCar.
Oh, so now it's new.
Or it was Race Review, now it's just IndyCar.
That's right. Well, obviously, so, yeah. Yep. Okay. So we'll have a link in the description area, of course, of this video for subscribing and following you on Twitter. And that's the best way to keep up with all your work then at this point. Is that basically it?
Yep, I post everything there. Yep, I'll everything I did in the past, nothing changes. If I need to be censored and not answer some questions, I'll stay tuned or something. But I'll respond. Same way, I'll still put out all the TV info and everything. So ask any questions you got.
Excellent. And then, like I said, you'll be back to preview the season real soon, and you'll be on our other show, our NASCAR show, from time to time. Can't wait for that first interview that kicked things off before the first race of the season in IndyCar. Eric, appreciate it. It's going to be a great season here on Mystery Caution, and can't wait. I'm glad we were able to get this thing underway, and I know you got to run.
Yep, looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.